Someone call for a long song Saturday full album reaction to U2, The Unforgettable Fire. Was that you? Or was it me? It was one of us. Oh yeah, welcome on back to the channel, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there, especially if you're joining me on a long song Saturday. Today we're going to jump right on into the U2. Why did I say the U2? We're going to listen to U2 with their album, The Unforgettable Fire. This is their fourth studio album, released in 1984. With U2, I've heard War. I had that album a long time ago, and I love that album. I haven't listened to it actually recently at all. Like, it's probably been years since I've listened to it, but it's a really good album. I remember always enjoying that a lot. So this particular album had been suggested by a few of you guys. Let me pull up your names here real quick. Josie P. Cat, Hijikale, I'm sorry, Hijikale Milena P. I apologize. Spherical Harmony. AK, I think you may have recommended this. John Mavrodis, David Imrie, Rayanne, MP the New Guy, Spherical Harmony, Exit Music, The Garden Fix, Gaza, Jerry Petrillo, David T, Rayanne, John PBH, Leo Scone. The list goes on and on. Like, I'm scrolling. Michael Kolb, Abalashes. Thank you guys so much. Felipe, Galindo, Paul Jensen. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation, for the suggestion to listening to this album. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do the full album today. And we're going to jump on into that. Before we dive in, I'm going to try and make the intro quick because I still get a comment every once in a while from, it's usually like a new person that comes in. Man, this guy talks a lot. I just want to hear the music. Man, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can. Not really. First of all, if you're here, press the like button. It helps a great deal. It gets the video out to a lot of people, and you know, it shares the video with other people. If you don't want to do anything that costs any sort of money, you know, just press the like button. It helps out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video. That helps a lot. But if you do want to support what I do on the channel, you can do so on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. You don't have to, once again, but it does help in what I do. 2, I woke up early this morning. I had to take my car to get repaired. I walked back home. Worked out for almost 2 hours. Then they called me and said the car was ready. Walked back to the shop, picked up the car. Here we are. Drank a little water. There's a shop that opened near me that has refillable horchata. If you don't know what horchata is, it's like a rice milk drink with like cinnamon and spices and nuts. It's just a cool, really refreshing drink. I love it. And this place is like refillable. Like, are you kidding me? This is good. This is good. And I guess otherwise that's really pretty much it. I don't think there's really anything else I have to like say or do or anything like that. No, I don't think so. Actually, you know what? I am going to do one more thing. I'm going to plug a new artist that I had discovered. I'm going to share a link to some of their music with you guys, and I would encourage you guys to check them out. It is, I believe, a solo artist. Their music, they go under the name of The Nunnery. Let me bring you guys up here really quick. You can take a look with me. She's really awesome. I really enjoy her music. It's very atmospheric. I'm not going to play a ton of it, but like, you know, here's a little. But then there's like some cool live performances that she does, like where like she loops her music and stuff. Like it's just really cool stuff. Like, yeah, like this one's really nice. It's obviously much older, but like, I don't know, it's just kind of cool stuff. Anyways, so I'll link some of her music down below. You can go ahead and check her out. Now I'm done. How long did I take? 3 minutes and 50 seconds. It's taken almost 4 minutes for us to get to the album, and I still haven't even started it yet. Man, the people that come here and there, like, get to the music that still haven't discovered the, you know, fast forward button or just click a little further on. Man, they're mad right now. Anyways, should I take another minute? Should we just like talk about something else? You want to learn the history of horchata? You want to learn the history of horchata? Let's go ahead. Like, what's the history of this? Like, where did this come from? Food Network. Could go to Wikipedia. Look at that. Horchata. You guys can make this on your own too. It's so good. Original horchata from Valencia, Spain, made of chufa, tiger nuts, water, sugar, a sprinkle of ground cinnamon. Well, tiger nuts didn't grow in the Americas when the Spanish arrived, so the Spanish used different nut seeds and grains to recreate horchata in their colonies. Like, this is such good stuff. You guys should really like make some on your own. You can probably buy this stuff and do it yourself. Like, look, let's look. You can look at that. You can make this yourself, guys. It is so good. I promise you it'll be worth it. Matter of fact, you should make a glass of this. Like, leave, buy the ingredients, come back and make a glass of this and sip it alongside with me. That's some good stuff, guys. That's some good stuff. You can do that. Anyways, did I take 5 minutes? Okay. Now that the angry people have left, now that the people have left that are talking too long, that I talked too long, now we'll go ahead and listen to the album. Thank you all so much for joining me. As always, appreciate you stopping on by. Let's go ahead and start the first track, which is a sort of homecoming. And as always, my friends, new and old, this one's to you.
Across the fields of morning, lights in the distance. The dust of smoke screen all around. See faces plowed like fields.
It's an interesting snare that comes in at that point. It's a wonderful opening track, filled with a lot of atmosphere, actually, especially partly due to the guitar. Like, that was very, very atmospheric, the way that it just washes through everything. Bono sounds absolutely wonderful, extremely filled with passion and filled with gusto. I like when he, tonight, I can't sing that high, but like, the way that he sings that particular line is just very, very inspiring and very moving, I think. I also really like the bass line underneath everything. The bass was actually pretty dynamic underneath here. Without being showy or without coming out of pocket, it played very much alongside with the music and very much alongside with the mood and melody of everything. But it was also standing very well on its own. I actually don't know the bassist's name. Adam Clayton is the bassist on here. And then Larry Mullen on the drums. I like the drums, and there's a few moments where the snare changes and we get like a different tonality on the snare. I'm sure there's just a different one or a different instrument or, you know, part of percussion there, and he's hitting it at particular points. But I thought that was kind of a nice little way to kind of break it up as well. And the drums, I thought also at many points had this almost tribal feel to it with the way it was moving. At certain times, Adam would come in with the bass and kind of thump it to kind of provide just that, to me, a very moving pattern when it comes to the rhythm. And I just think that this was a very moving song as a whole. Something I forgot to mention in the very beginning is I usually do not do this. I usually don't, but I did do this this time, actually. Let me bring you guys up. So usually the Wikipedia article or any other articles, I don't read it until like we're in the midst of the album and we're like, you know, kind of listening to it. So we can learn, well, more for me, I can learn and listen at the same time. Instead of just reading a bunch of stuff, perhaps spoiling things for myself, and then not having as much of a blind going into it. However, one reason I wanted to listen to this album, besides you guys suggesting it, is that it's produced by Brian Eno, which really, really captures my attention. So I literally, before like starting to record, I pulled up the Wikipedia page, and I was scrolling down because I always scroll down to the track listing just so I can have that as I'm, you know, in my mind as I'm going. But as I was scrolling down, I did just happen to like come to this art. I just happened to see you two interested in working with Eno, and I was like, you know what? I'm just curious. Like I kind of spoiled this part for myself. Like I was just curious to see how they got together, how it all worked out, which was actually quite an interesting story. Let me find the paragraphs that I was reading because I thought it was kind of interesting how they kind of came about. Here it is. Came about with Eno. I'm not going to read every single thing, obviously, but just a few points here. All right, after working with Steve Lillywhite on the first 3 albums, the band sought experimentation rather than to create the son of war. So I like how they didn't want to rest on their laurels. They wanted to actually expand and experiment and progress. They said that they should not repeat the same formula. So they considered a lot of people, for example, Connie Plank, who worked with Can, Kraftwerk, and Ultravox, which is very interesting. Anyways, eventually, U2 instead turned their attention to Brian Eno. The Edge had long admired Eno's music, especially his ambient and weird works. Eno was hesitant to work with a rock band, and when contacted, he told them he was considering retiring from music. However, he did agree to meet them in Dublin and brought along his engineer, Daniel Lanois, who also we've heard a lot of good work from as well, with the intention of recommending he work with them instead. The Edge said of him, "I think he was intimidated by the lack of irony in what we were doing. He'd come from Talking Heads, the Rhode Island School of Design, living in New York, and here was this Irish band hitting full on everything. Completely earnest, hearts on sleeves. Eno also thought that the group were frightened of being overpowered by some softness. Because obviously we know Eno and he's much more experimental. So he's probably thinking in his head like, are you sure you want to work with me? Like, you know, like, and we'll read some more here about some other hesitations that were shown about Eno from like the record company and stuff. Eno was impressed by how they spoke, which was not in terms of music or playing, but in terms of their contributions to the identity of the band as a whole. The band's discussion about pursuing different recording techniques and capturing the ambience of a recording space also piqued his interest. Ultimately, Eno and Lanois agreed to produce the album, with the understanding that if Eno's working relationship with U2 was not fruitful, they would have a solid producer in Lanois in which they could fall back. So I like how he agreed hesitantly, but said, in case it doesn't work with me, I brought someone along just to make sure you guys get what you want. And I mean, those are two great producers to be there. Now, I'm going to read just one more thing, and then we'll get back to the lyrics and everything. Island Records founder Chris Blackwell initially tried to talk U2 out of hiring Eno, believing that just when they were about to achieve the highest levels of success, Eno would bury them under a layer of avant-garde nonsense. I think that is hilarious. That is the epitome of a band trying to do their own thing, trying to stick to their guns, be artful, be creative, experiment, not just rest. And then the record label comes in and says, "Yeah, let's hold on a second. Let's not go that far, you know? We're about to hit the big time. Let's not hire, Brian Eno. He's going to weird your album all up." Says Nick Stewart, also of Island Records, thought the band were mad. Blackwell instructed him to dissuade U2 from working with Eno. He said, "You better sort your band out because they're going in a very odd direction." Stewart was unable to change their minds, prompting Blackwell to fly to Dublin to meet the group. However, ultimately, Blackwell too was convinced by Bono's persuasiveness and the band's enthusiasm. So, there you go. And as he says, it was a turning point in their career. So, I just thought that was interesting. I couldn't help but read that when I was scrolling down and getting to the article. All right, the lyrics. "And you know it's time to go through the sleet and driving snow, across the fields of morning, lights in the distance. And you hunger for the time to heal, desire time, and your earth moves beneath your own dream landscape. Oh, on the borderlands we run, I'll be there. Tonight a high road out of here." So obviously they're trying to escape from somewhere, and he's saying that, as we escape, I'll be there to help us get out. "The city walls are gone down, the dust and smoke screen all around. See faces plowed like fields at once, gave no resistance. We live by the side of the road, on the side of the hill, as the valley explode. Dislocated, suffocated, the land grows weary of its own." So there's a war, some sort of, catastrophe happening in this land, and they realize they got to get out. "I'll be there tonight. The wind will crack in wintertime. This bomb blast lightning waltz. No spoken words, just a scream. Tonight we'll build that bridge across the sea and land. See the sky, the burning rain. She will die and live again tonight." Definitely some sort of bombing or I guess I could read that. The title was inspired by a speech Bono came across by Romanian-German Jewish poet Paul Celan, who wrote during his time in internment camps during the Nazi occupation. Celan describes poems as encounters, paths from a voice to a listening you, natural paths, outlines for existence perhaps, for projecting ourselves into the search for ourselves, a kind of homecoming. That makes a lot of sense, the way that's brought up into the song, and of course the title of the song, A Sort of Homecoming. That's really good, and obviously there's a lot to read here about this track as well. But that's a really, really wonderful track with a great story behind it. Let's move on into the next one, and that is going to be Pride in the Name of Love. Sounds so good when he sings like that. So passionate. Once again, I have to really admire Bono's singing and just the way that he sings. Every once in a while I'll mention something along these lines, but with a singer like him and the way that he's delivering his music, he sounds like someone that believes in what he's saying. Obviously with the lyrics here and in a lot of the music from U2, like there are social causes, political causes, and depth behind what they're saying. So like we read in that Wikipedia article, this is a band that wears their heart on their sleeve. And so I guess it's not too far of a stretch to, see that the way he sings is filled with passion because it's something that he believes in. It's not like he's singing about something and then putting, some good soaring vocals behind it just because it sounds good. He believes in it. And I feel like the way that he's outspoken and the outreach in his voice, it has cause and meaning and a lot of heart behind it. And I guess most of all, belief behind it. He believes in what he's saying, not just saying it. Once again, I like that choppy guitar from the Edge, especially the right, and that kind of continues throughout the whole way, just in different forms and with different tones beneath it. The bass is once again nice and groovy in there. A little bit more rested on this track than the previous, but still grooving nonetheless. And it's very, very catchy. In the name of love. It's catchy. It's a catchy one. One man come in the name of love, one man go, or come and go. One man come, he to justify, one man to overthrow. In the name of love, what more in the name of love, what more in the name of love? One man caught on a barbed wire fence, one man he resist. One man washed on an empty beach, one man betrayed with a kiss. So I feel like we're talking about a lot of different figures with each of these, one man this, one man that. Like, I don't know who maybe specifically he's talking about. One man caught on a barbed wire fence, one man he resist, washed on an empty beach, one man betrayed with a kiss. That has to be Jesus, right? I think it's just talking about different people, perhaps different leaders in different ways who have been killed for trying to do things in the name of love, right? Early morning, April 4th, shots ring out in the Memphis sky. Free at last, they took your life, they could not take your pride. Let's look at the Wikipedia article for this one. Let's see, it was released as the lead single from this particular album. It was written about the American civil rights leader Martin Luther King. It received mixed critical reviews at the time, but it was a major commercial success for U2 and has since become one of their most popular songs. It's said that the chords and the notes were improvised during a sound check prior to a concert in Hawaii. Edge led the group with a series of chord changes during the sound check, but after someone made a mistake, the new members picked up on it and changed course, providing a new twist to the improvisation. I really like how sometimes songs come about. I'm always interested to see how the music actually came about, and with something like this, it came about from an accident, basically. The song was intended to be based on Ronald Reagan's pride in America's military power, but Stephen Biote's book, Let the Trumpets Sound: A Life of Martin Luther King, and a biography of Malcolm X caused Bono to ponder the different sides of the civil wars or civil rights campaigns, the violent and the nonviolent. In subsequent years, Bono has expressed his dissatisfaction with the lyrics, which he describes along another Unforgettable song, or Fire Song Bad, as being left as simple sketches. He says that he was swayed by the Edge and producers who played down the need to develop the lyrics as they thought their impressionistic nature would give added forcefulness to the song's feeling, particularly when heard by non-English speakers. So, besides, I'm assuming this is when MLK was assassinated. Besides this line, the rest of it is pretty vague, and you could kind of apply them, I guess, to different people. So I guess that's what he means with the impressionistic nature there. During the recording sessions, Eno encouraged the singer to use nonsense words as placeholders for lyrics. Bono said, "I looked at how glorious that song was and thought, what is that all about?" There you go. There's a ton of course, info on this one here. So let's go ahead and move ourselves on to the next track here, which is going to be Through the Wire, to the limit, to the far, a chance to be with you, it all. That's a great song. Through the wire, to the limit, to the listen, if it's your first time here, you come here not only just to see a guy reacting to music and saying, yes, I like it, or no, I don't like it, but you're coming here for personality. You're coming here for a good time. I want you to be slightly entertained while you're listening to this and while we're having our good time here. Let's continue our good time with Wire. Through the Wire. It's a good song, Shaka Khan. This one's fast, too. Wire is one of U2's best songs. That was one of the band's best songs. The sun's coming out now. That is a that is one of the best songs I've heard from U2. U2 fans, where does this song lie on like their top ones? Because that is great. Now I'm looking. All right, you guys can't see this because I can't show my Spotify, but like I'm looking at my Spotify. Sort of Homecoming, 7 million listens. Pride, 290 million listens. Wire, 5 million. The band, this is to me like they have said, let's just go all out. And each and every single one of them goes all out. And as hard and rocking as this track is, it still has those qualities of the ambience, the atmosphere, the washes of the guitar. And like it all just plays in this really cool fashion. I like how as fast and like high tempo as this is, it calms itself down. The washes from the edge on the guitar, the wow, like those little echoey sustained notes that come out and just echo and echo. But then the hard bass line from, oh my god, I forgot his name. Adam, got it. Okay, the hard and fast bass line from Adam just pushes this thing with rock and roll thrash. The drums, 16th notes, quick pattern, and Bono, he goes for it here. And at the end, he throws in a little bit of a, I don't want to say a rap, but he like starts spitting a little bit. This song is, to me, the band going all out, and they succeed in such a surprising way. Not that I didn't think they couldn't do it. I just didn't expect this kind of sound from them. That's really, really awesome. Also, something that I just noticed while we were listening to the song. You know what I noticed? Chrissy Hine from Pretenders was apparently on Pride. I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice backing vocals. She was probably somewhere in the chorus and in the name of love. I don't know. And then I guess on a remix of Sort of Homecoming, Peter Gabriel singing. Jeez, guys. That's awesome. Let's get to these lyrics though. Innocent, and in a sense I am. Guilty of the crime that's now in hand. My voice is like starting to choke inside. Such a nice day, throw your life away, such a nice day, let it go. Cold in his eyes, I can't believe it. Cold in his heart and soul, heart and soul. Cold man, such a cold heart, such a cold man. I watch you tear yourself apart. With some of the lyrics further down, I think that this is about someone that's perhaps having issues with drug addiction. In I come and out you go, you get, here we go, here we are again. Now place your bets. Is this the time to win or lose? Is this the time to choose? Don't do it, don't do it. Anytime you're on the earth, kiss away. Won't you take me? That's right, you keep me going. In some white track, you come on right back. Cartoon cut out, cutthroat lit out. I'm on your side, be on both side. I'm all right, Jack, get off my back. I'm no dope. I give you hope. Here's the rope. Now swing away. Like, I feel like this is someone that's dealing with a drug addiction, and they never know if this time is going to be the last time from either an overdose or something else like that. You know, taking that risk. And I feel like this song is sung from the perspective of, like, a personification of the drug. And the whole white line or the white track thing makes me think cocaine. I don't know. At least that's what I'm thinking. I did see that there's something here. It says, let's see. Supreme. When I saw you two at the Omni in Atlanta, who's saying this? Who's speaking? Who's I? Who is I? I don't know. Bono launched into the song right after the song The Unforgettable Fire. I was in the front row. I don't know who this is. Bono described the origin of Bad and once can guess Wire. It is inspired by the story of one of his best childhood friends who had grown up in Seven Towers, the poor housing project near Bono's home in Ballymun, Dublin. Bono said that his friend for his 18th birthday asked his lover for enough heroin to kill him. Apparently she obliged. Okay. All right, well, there you go. The song Wire can be interpreted as the narrator's friend committing suicide by an overdose. So that's the here's the rope, swing away. That's a very, very heart-wrenching story. Wow, that's a deep one. Let's move ourselves on over to the next song, which is going to be the title track, The Unforgettable Fire. I don't know why I separated it like that. Sun went back. Right, been back down. You can always tell by the lighting in this room, which I apologize, but probably not going to change it anytime soon. Like when the sun comes out and when the sun goes behind a cloud. Right now it's cloud. Here we go. Very, 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 very worthy of being the title track on the album. Definitely makes a statement and stands by it in very, very high quality. This so far on the album sounds like the epitome of the working relationship with Daniel and Brian with the rest of the band. Because this one, I can't imagine that Eno and Lanoy are not playing on this one. Some of those keyboard sounds, the electronic sounds that are happening, it has to be one of them because it just sounds like something that they would do in here. The very well orchestrated sounds that come in about halfway through and continue on. Those big swaths of strings accented by heavy drum toms on that moment. It's a very strong break in the music that adds a much needed drama into it. Like I said, this track sounds like the perfect combination of the band themselves, their personality, and then of course the producers and what they bring to the table. This one rocks. I like how bass heavy and forward it is. I just hit my microphone. But there's this deep underlying atmosphere and ambience to it all, which never gets lost. And that just sits and kind of burns lightly beneath everything, kind of stoking the fire of the rest of the band so that they can go off and burn and do their thing. Really great track. Now, I couldn't help but see, I try not to look, if there's ever any information up here, I try not to look at it. I like to look at the lyrics and then just come with my own interpretation. But I couldn't help but see that it's inspired by an art exhibit of paintings created by survivors of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings. That would be such an incredible exhibit to go see. That would be absolutely incredible. Ice, your only rivers run cold. These city lights, they shine as silver and gold. Dug from the night, your eyes black as coal. Walk on by, walk on through. Walk till you run and don't look back, for here I am. Carnival, the wheels fly and the colors spin through alcohol. Red wine that punctures the skin, face to face in a dry and waterless place. So you know what's interesting? As you're reading, some of the lyrics here, and if the mountains should crumble or disappear into the sea, not a tear, no, not I, stay this time, stay tonight in a lie. Even after his love and ever after his love and time, and if you save your love, save your sweet love, don't push me too far, don't push me too far tonight. Like, a lot of the descriptive and these lyrics don't necessarily paint a picture of the bombings. But it's not about the bombings. It's about an art exhibit of paintings created by survivors of the bombings. So these are probably the pictures and the paintings that he saw at the art exhibit. So I like how it's related, but it's not related at the same time. And yet it's thoroughly related. I'd actually be really curious. Actually, really quick. Hold on. Let's not take two steps before we take the first. The band cited the art exhibition by victims of the atomic bombings that was held at the Peace Museum in Chicago as lyrical inspiration for the song. It became their first #1 single in Ireland, their third top 10 hit in the United Kingdom, and number 6 on the UK singles chart and number 8 on the Dutch singles chart. Let's see. Oh, here you go. String arrangement by Irish jazz musician Noel Callahan. See, there's Noel Callahan isn't. Oh, there he is. He's right here. Anytime a different instrument comes in, I try to figure out who's playing it, and I didn't see his name over here. Put Noel over here with the additional musicians, since that's what he's doing. I guess he's not playing it; he's just arranging it. Well, I just want to know. Noel Callahan. Let's see. I just like to see who they've worked with, if there's any names I recognize. But just with a quick scan, I do not recognize any of the names or anything here. All right. Anyways, it says the song evolved from a short piano composition from The Edge that he had written during a demo session with Jimmy Destry from the band Blondie. He said he had written it for no particular purpose, but he envisioned it as a soundtrack piece. However, he did not know how to approach it lyrically or vocally, and as a result spent some time toying with it. Well, sometimes you start toying with things, and before you know it, it becomes one of your most popular songs as well. The band recorded a bassing backing track initially consisting of drums, bass, and keyboards. At that stage, the vocal melody was still a work in progress and was so intricate and complicated that it was almost ridiculous. The album's producers, Eno and Lanoy, did what The Edge described as a performance mix. After extensive work on the song, the group arrived at a recorded version of the song with which they were comfortable, even when it seemed like they would have been better advised to be very harsh and do some savage editing. Well, I think that it worked out quite nicely for them. Really quick, I was actually kind of curious. I'm actually kind of curious to see like what some of those paintings from the art exhibition were. I wonder how I'd find that. Okay, the Peace Museum. Let's go ahead and do a Google search. I'm just curious. I mean, once again, we're not just here for the music sometimes. We're here for a lot of things, you know. We can all learn at the same time. The Peace Museum art exhibit. Maybe if I type in Nagasaki, that'll help us out. I would love to just see some of the paintings. I don't know if any of these will... That takes us back here to the museum. Inside of the museum. I don't know how we would find it. Nagasaki Art Museum. Okay, so here's an event page for it. It's open to the public. I can't find it here. If I can't find it relatively soon, then we'll move on. I just wanted to see. I'm genuinely just curious to see if I could see any of the paintings. But I also guess it would make sense probably not to have them online because they want you. They want you in there, All right. Well, I tried. We found the museum. Couldn't find a painting, though. Okay. We gave it a shot. Let's move on into the next track, which is going to end the first side of the album, and that is going to be Promenade. Here we go.
Barbed wire fence cut me down. I'd like to be alright.
I like how quiet this song is.
Turn me around tonight, up through spine.
One thing I always love is the artfulness and the thought that's put into your track list, and how a band puts certain songs at certain moments. And I really like this as kind of being an ending with a whisper for this particular side of the album, because it definitely shuts things down in a low light scenario with a lot of quietness, a lot of atmosphere built in the back, and even the drums are very muted. Like, everything just kind of sits down here. Occasionally the bass and the drums may pop out a little bit, but it really stays down this level. And so I like how this is just kind of ending us in the dark with a little bit of firelights. Once again, the atmosphere and the ambience from the guitars is really nice. I hear a lot of little details happening in the back. There's some sounds that kind of swoop in gently and then kind of calm back out. It's like a quick inbound breeze. Lyrics, I have no idea what we're talking about, though. Earth, sky, scenery, is she coming back again? Men of straw, snooker hall, words that build or destroy. Dirt, dry bone, sand, and stone. Barbed wire fence cut me down. I'd like to be around in a spiral staircase to the higher ground. And I, like a firework, explode. Roman candle lightning lights up the sky. In cracked streets, trample underfoot, sidestep, sidewalk, I see you stare into space. Have I gotten closer now behind the face? Oh, tell me, cherry, you dance with me. Turn me around tonight. Up through the spiral staircase to the higher ground. Slideshow, Sea-Town, Coca-Cola, football, radio. Maybe he's I think he's just interested in this woman, and she leaves, and he says, will she ever come back again? And I feel like he's at a place that's, like, not the most romantic, perhaps, like a snooker hall, like a pool hall. But when he sees her, this snooker hall, this pool hall turns into almost this promenade, this castle, and it's like it magically changes how he views it just because of her. Maybe something like that. Like, he's in a Walmart, but it feels like a Whole Foods. Something like that. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter, because that ends the first side of the album. And as you always know, sometimes at the halfway mark, I like to ask you guys a random question just to see who's still watching, who's still here, or who left in the first 5 minutes back at the beginning. And my question is, did you guys make your horchata to drink it alongside with me? Like, you really, I know there's at least one of you. One of you did make it to drink alongside with me, to experience what I'm experiencing. And I hope, if you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Because you really should have. Let's move on into the next track, which is going to be opening the first side of the, or the second side of the album, and that's going to be the 4th of July. Let's get our fireworks going.
Tear yourself into again.
Even this atmosphere feels connected from 4th of July.
Into the half-lights and through the flames.
Oh yeah. Nice. So let's kind of take these two tracks together because I don't know if it was intended, but they do work very, very well together. Like I said, I mean, it has to be intended somewhat because of the track listing and just how they put it together. 4th of July is a really cool little instrumental 2-minute jam that has just a really nice atmosphere behind it. Obviously, there were no lyrics, which I wasn't expecting. But there is still a Wikipedia article for this one. So for this one, it says it's an ambient track that was spontaneously improvised by Adam Clayton and guitarist The Edge, while producers Eno and Lenoir recorded unbeknownst to the band. It was never performed live, although it was played as a warm-up or a sound check. It says that this song came almost entirely through a moment of inspiration from Eno through capturing a moment. At the end of a studio session, Eno overheard Adam Clayton doodling on a simple bass figure, and The Edge joining in and improvising a few bottleneck guitar ideas over top of it. Eno liked what he was hearing. I love when this happens. This is one of my favorite things that happens in music. Unbeknownst to them, he recorded it as it was being played, and that was the song finished, with no possibility of redoing the parts later. Eno added further treatments on the guitar while it was recording, resulting in keyboard-like sounds even though there were 2 instruments playing throughout. That's why you hire Eno. That's why you hire him, because listen, he's gonna surprise you. He's gonna say, "Hey, here's a song," and then I'm like, where'd this come from? Eventually, the piece would be forgotten until it was unearthed at the end of the sessions, and Bono insisted on its inclusion. That is really good. A 2-minute excerpt of the 10-minute long improvisation was included. It was called 4th of July to commemorate the birth of The Edge's daughter, Holly, who was born on that date, right in the middle of making this album. That is fantastic. A little spontaneity goes a long way. And then with Bad, I really like how it comes off of this track. It has a really, really nice organic build-up. Let me bring these guys back up here while I talk. It has a really nice organic build-up as it's going, like, it just builds up until the end. I love the drumming in here. I think the drumming is a standout here. And out of all the tracks, I think this is the track in which Larry really does get, like, his wings to spread. Because not only does he build it up really well, he has a very peculiar kind of groove and staging of what drums to play and where. He doesn't just play it straight. He doesn't give us the standard, the basic, the what you would expect. He kind of plays around with the way he includes himself in the structure and the buildup of everything and the progression of everything. Like at the very end when the drums finally do come in full, and I mean like for its climax, he doesn't just play a simple boring pattern. He adds in, I can't remember the pattern exactly, but he, adds in the like, it's just a different pattern. I like how he approaches it in a different way with a different mindset. And of course, the song is filled with a lot of melody and ambience and atmosphere, as you would expect. This one feels, if I can make a comparison, just because his name, came up before, this one definitely feels like somewhere in Peter Gabriel's wheelhouse. Just can't help it. If you twist and turn away, if you tear yourself in two again, if I could, yes I would, if I could, I would let it go, surrender, dislocate. If I could throw this lifeless lifeline to the wind, leave this heart of clay, see you walk away, into the night and through the rain, into the half-light, and through the flame. If I could, through myself, set your spirit free, I'd lead your heart away, see you break away into the light and to the day. And then he's singing the whoa, whoa, whoas. Let it go, say fade away, I'm wide awake. I'm not sleeping, no. So as we read before with Wire, this song is also related to drugs as well. If you should ask, then maybe they'd tell you what I would say. True colors fly in blue and black, blue silken sky and burning flag. Colors crash, collide in bloodshot eyes. Then it goes on from there. Here's the Wikipedia part. Thematically, the song's about heroin addiction, though Bono has given varying accounts of who was the inspiration behind the lyrics. It's considered a fan favorite. 12-minute performance of the song at Live Aid was a breakthrough moment for the band as well. Let's see. There's one moment where drummie Larry Mullen Jr. puts down brushes and takes up the sticks, and it creates this pause, which has an incredibly dramatic effect. Yeah, because Larry's great on this track. The early 1980s recession had led to a high number of heroin addicts in the inner city of Dublin. Lead vocalist Bono frequently introduced the song as a song about Dublin. Let's see, and there's some other stuff about here. Bono said the song was about heroin and that he wrote it for a friend and also for himself. In discussing this comment during his radio interview, he said, well, I think I said I wrote the song for a friend of mine. I also wrote it for myself because you can be addicted to anything. And you know, that song's not just about heroin. It's about a lot of things. None of our songs really are just about one thing. These songs can be applied to many, many different things. And I like that era of the abstract that they constantly play in. And a lot of bands play in. Where yes, it may be specifically written about one particular thing, but that thing can be expanded into so many, many more. Next track, let's move on. Indian Summer Sky. Here we go. Another fade in, huh?
In the forest, there's a clearing eye.
That scratching and then the atmosphere.
On this, the longest day. The light that strikes the tallest trees will light the way
I like it. I like that little bit of rough drums we got at the end. Just a little bit. This is such a good album, but this track especially. My favorite thing about this album, a lot of it, is just that atmosphere. Definitely the production, right? But obviously, I just like the band sound. But I like what they do with that production, what the producers do with the band. Like, just, I don't know, that's really cool. And this track to me is another like great slice of that in just how atmospheric and layered the guitars are. I like how the bass is so upfront about it. I like how, once again, I mentioned it, but the drums, this one they do play it a little bit more straight, but there's still those little nuances that come through, and they come through brilliantly. And then I'm pretty sure it's probably Eno in the back. There's like I don't even know what it is. It sounds like a little keyboard sound or a synth sound of some sort, closer to like a sequencer, and it just kind of dances and sparkles in the back of the room in this particular case. And it's a tiny little detail, but it's a detail that makes all the difference, and it just adds to this particular shine on this track. And I don't know what an Indian Summer Sky is, but I imagine it's a very beautiful sight, and I probably like it. The song sounds very, very beautiful. Let's look at the lyrics, though. In the ocean cuts ring deep the sky, like there, I don't know why. In the forest there's a clearing, I run there toward the light sky. It's a blue sky. In the earth, the whole deep, deep decide. If I could, I would. Up for air to swim against the tide. Up toward the sky. It's a blue sky. You know, I feel like he's running or reaching towards a goal. He runs to the forest. Out of the darkness, he comes up to a clearing, and he sees the blue sky. He sees hope, whatever that hope may represent. To lose along the way the spark that set the flame. To flicker and to fade on this the longest day. Let me read that again. To lose along the way the spark that set the flame. You lose your spark in the journey of life, in the run of life. You lose that spark that initially drove you. To flicker and to fade on this the longest day. And on that day you lose that spark, it's the longest day because what's driving you? That's pretty good.
Please clap.
That's pretty good. That's just what I think. So wind go through my heart, wind blow through my soul. Give yourself to this longest day. Give yourself, give it all away. Two rivers run too deep, the seasons change, and so do I. The light that strikes the tallest trees, the light away for I, the light away up towards the sky. It's a blue sky. That's at least what I'm thinking it is. A motivational song. Sometimes along the run of life, you lose your spark, you lose the fire. But don't let that extinguish who you are. What's the word? Endure it, take it in, and move on. Reflect and move on. Let's move on to the next track, speaking of moving on, which is going to be Elvis Presley and America. Okay, very direct. Let's jump on in. I love the rawness of the drums. Okay, instrumentally, this song is top notch. And I love the production on all of their instruments. It just adds so much, especially the drums in this one. They stand out so much. Larry's drums, I like how they have a very raw feel to it. And there's also a lot of space given to his drums. And obviously, you know, Eno and Daniel are going to, you know, hone in on that. But even though there's a lot of ambience that's taking place beneath everything with some sort of synths or who knows whatever magic they're creating there, there's still a lot of roominess given to the actual drums itself. Now you notice it most with the actual snare, but you can hear it with, of course, the rest of the set. And it's just really nice how that room is given to him, and it makes a nice impact without cluttering or adding a certain density into the layer cake of this particular track. As we expect at this point, the bass and the guitar just wash over you with ambient melody, and just, it's very beautiful. And I actually really like the way that this track kind of is very even keeled, and at the same time there's little bumps and little waves as it goes when you're thinking about the structure of it, but overall it stays pretty chill. It's not like a song that like has high highs and low lows and goes all over the place. This is a very relaxing track. There is something going on with Bono's vocals on the production side of this. I don't know what it is, but there's something happening where it's almost like, I don't know what they've done. I'm sure, I mean, I got the Wikipedia article. We'll look at it and see what it is. But it's almost like his voice is kind of coming in and out a little bit, and he's not singing in his upbeat, passionate way. He's kind of singing like much more down here. And there's something else going on with it. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna find out. And I'll be 100% honest. I love the song instrumentally, but I actually think it would actually work better as an instrumental, and kind of like 4th of July, and maybe a little shorter. That's where I come from it. This is a track that I don't like the singing in it. I don't like the delivery. I don't like how it sounds. And I love it instrumentally. And if I had my way, I would either shorten it a little bit, just a little bit, like 2 minutes off or so, or leave it the same length and add in some like solos from the edge or like some little moments just to kind of spice it up. But overall, I mean, I really do enjoy it, you know, instrumentally. Singing wise, all right, let's see. The song was almost entirely a spur-of-the-moment creation. Musically, it takes instrumentation from a slowed-down backing track of A Sort of Homecoming. Oh, I didn't even catch that. Producer Daniel Lanois said that he became frustrated while mixing that song and consequently slowed down the tape recording from 30 inches per second to 22. The vocals are... Okay, here's what I need to see. The vocals are a result of lead singer Bono improvising the lyrics while listening to the music for the first time. That's probably why I don't like them, because he's just kind of improvising and not like really... Okay. Bono viewed the vocals as a rough sketch, intending to write proper lyrics and rearrange the vocal at a later point. However, Lanois, Brian Eno, and later everyone else felt that they'd capture a unique quality in the vocal performance that would be hard to recapture, so they kept it. Okay, see, here's the thing. I love the story behind this. I like how they said, no, that's good enough. They liked it. They liked that it was something different. And in working with Eno and Daniel, like, they want to do something different. They want to experiment. That doesn't change the fact that I don't like the vocals, but I do love to see the history and the facts behind it. I am curious about the song title, though. Bono described this track as a reaction to an Albert Goldman biography of Elvis Presley, which was not flattering to the late singer. This would not be the last time Bono disagreed with Goldman's portrayal of a rock legend. Apparently that happens again later on. Okay, so that is interesting. I like the facts behind it. Doesn't change how I feel about the vocals. to be honest. And this is one where I can see the record company being like, oh, like just write the lyrics. Just say the right things. So, so here are the lyrics, or these sketches of lyrics, concepts of lyrics. Black flash over my own love, tell me of my eyes. Black flash come though my own life. Telling these things and I believe them, I believe in you. White flash sees the sky and it turns its side back from you. She won't turn back or turn my back, and I know you turn so blue. And you know your sky is feeling blue and your heart so cold when I'm with you. And you feel like no one told you and your time is on side and your time with me. Don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't. Listen, since the lyrics were really just kind of like thrown out there, I don't think there's a hugely deep meaning on this one. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Just a sketch of a song. Let's move on into the final track for the album, which is going to be MLK. Let's go ahead and dive on. I almost pressed the wrong button. I almost pressed the stop recording button. I am recording, right? I'm recording. MLK, here we go.
Sleep tonight. So let it be realized.
What a poignant piece of music for the album to end on, with relatively straight and simple and straightforward lyrics, but deep nonetheless. The mood established here has to be courtesy of Eno. Just that calm undertone. And there's really not a lot to look at. This is really just... I like this. I like the way they ended this with a whisper. Kind of like how they ended the first side of the album. There's not a lot of this or that happening musically. Just a layer, a bed of atmosphere, and Bono singing straightforward poetic lyrics about Martin Luther King. And I think that that's a very... succinct and important way to end the album. End it with a simple message, but a message that everyone needs to hear. I think that that's really wonderful and a great way to kind of put a period on the sentence of this album. I think that leaves a mark, you know? Sleep, sleep tonight, and may your dreams be realized. If the thundercloud passes rain, let it rain. Rain down on he, let it be. And then the lyrics just repeat there again. Very simple. Not a lot to dive into lyrically. May your dreams be realized, of course. May Martin Luther King's dreams be realized of racial tensions and divisions come back to be united. May those dreams be realized. And a lot of progress has been made. A lot of progress still needs to be made, but we have come a long way in that particular avenue. It says, let's see. It was because of this song and Pride, another tribute to King, that lead vocalist Bono received the highest honor of the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change, an organization founded by Coretta Scott King. It says MLK originated with a melody and set of lyrics composed by Bono while listening to a pitched hum from his vacuum cleaner. It is literally anything. Creativity, inspiration can come from anywhere, guys. Like anywhere. I wouldn't doubt it if there's a song where the rhythm came from like the beat of a washing machine, or something like that. Like it can come from anywhere. According to The Edge, the band failed miserably to find a musical arrangement that suited the melody, and that the results always sounded too traditional. Once again, going right back to their message in the beginning, that they wanted to experiment and push a little bit on this album. When the group decided to revisit the song, they started with just the vocal melody and a drone note to see which musical direction it would take them. The resulting arrangement sounded complete to them, convincing them not to refine it any further. That was all that was needed. And such a simple musical drone like that leaves our attention to dwell on the lyrics and the message and the heart of the song. That's what I was trying to think in my head. Anyways. Guys, that is the Unforgettable Fire by U2. I forgot to clap at the end of the song, but that is it. Did you finish your horchata? Did you check out the nunnery? Did you leave in the first 5 minutes? My favorite songs on this album are very easily, first song, The Wire. The Wire, not The Wire, I'm sorry. Wire. Wire is my favorite song on this album. I think the unabashed energy is just absolutely stunning from them. Everyone's shooting at 100, and it's a great, great track. Then, number 2 is just the track right after it, the title track, The Unforgettable Fire, which I feel is just a great culmination and summation of the band, the production, and it all is in this wonderful marriage together. I mean, those 2 tracks that stand out to me. Weakest track, if you're twisting my arm, I'm going to say, Elvis Presley of America, just because I don't love the vocal style, even though the history behind it is really cool. The way it came about is really cool, but, otherwise not quite for me. This was a really cool album to listen to, though. I really enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to it alongside with me. If you did, press the like button. If you didn't, press the like button. Subscribe if it's your first time here and you haven't already, because I know that if it's your second or forward time being here, you've already subscribed. Right? Like, just do that for me. Of course, like I mentioned in the beginning, you can support what I do on Patreon. $2 a month. You don't have to, but you can. Helps a lot. Goes a long way. Even if you do it for 1 month, it helps. So that's that. What else? I guess that's kind of it, huh? Did you guys make your horchata? Want me to show you the recipe again? Let's go ahead and look at the recipe again. Let me put you guys up here. Why not? You're here. I'm here. We can hang out. Like, we don't have to be in a rush. We don't have to go anywhere. Like, we can just chill. Jump to recipe. This is what you need. What do I need? All right, so you got some rice, some Mexican cinnamon sticks, hot water. You should be able to get that. Cup of milk, teaspoons of vanilla extract, ground cinnamon, granulated sugar. Guys, you could make this like anytime. All of these things you should pretty much have in your house. Like, you should pretty much have. The only thing I may give you is you may not have some cinnamon sticks. Go get some. Like, you should have all of these in your house. And like, here's all you got to do. You can pause this video and just follow this recipe right there. But you always got to look at reviews. Like, what did other people say about it? As a matter of fact, I should have been doing this after the credits. I shouldn't be doing this right now. Doesn't matter. He says this recipe didn't work for me. Charles, what's wrong? I followed the quantities and directions exactly and got a thick dough-like substance. I made half the batch of this recipe per the instructions. The end result was not something my children and I enjoyed. I goofed and didn't follow the instructions exactly, but it's still amazing. Started this last night and it's so easy and delicious. Completely garbage recipe turned into paste. Tastes fantastic. Tried several other recipes. This is the closest I could find. Great recipe. Don't throw the rice out. It can still be used. Está muy bueno. 2 tablespoons vanilla too much. Not everyone can have dairy. Well, then use the almond milk. Isn't that the point of the substitution? All right, anyways. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Go drink yourself a cup of horchata, and I hope you have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.